be getting dragged so much for my opinion about Porsha and Simon. So much so that I'm tired of talking about them, okay? But because they keep doing interviews, it's like, how can I not talk about them if Porsha over here dropping, waiting to exhale photo shoots and crying and saying that she want to be a lesbian, and then Simon over there way in Dubai looking sad on the Zoom call with the white lady talking about, I wish I never met her. Like, how can I ignore it? Okay, so today I got word that PageSix had dropped an expose on Simon, honey. They got a whole article and a video with Simon Guobadia. Simon is basically saying, listen, he felt like he was targeted for his money. All these ads, child, they getting their money. He said he absolutely regrets their marriage because he feels like he was targeted for financial reasons. And we've been said that. Okay. So he did this interview with Bernie Zillow of PageSix. And in the interview, he just talks about how, he treated her like a queen and she blindsided him. And it's the same thing that Porsha said in her interview. But we're going to listen to what Simon said. And then we're going to go listen to the extended version of what Porsha said. Might as well listen to both of them, child. But here is Simon and Bernie Zillow talking about, his marriage. Okay, Simon said Porsha's not going to be the only one talking about the marriage. And y'all know the drill. Copyright disclaimer in Section 107 of the Copyright Act. Allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, and research. What are we doing, ladies and gentlemen? We are researching. Let's listen.
Do you regret marrying her?
She didn't even listen. She didn't even warm him up. She did not even warm him up. She just went straight in for the kill. Let's listen.
Absolutely. I said to her in one of my text messages to her, because she didn't respond because I kept asking, why did you file for divorce? And she wouldn't say anything. I tried to reach her mom. Her mom would not respond either. I later figured out this felt like a coup. When I don't know if you're familiar with. I'm familiar. I say it because I'm from Nigeria, and we were ruled at one point by the military, and so every so often when you want to change leadership, the president, you stage a coup.
Yeah.
That's how I felt. I was totally blindsided.
Now, y'all remember when I said this in the very beginning, I told y'all, that Simon felt blindsided. Simon was actually on his way back from Costa Rica. And next thing you know, if Porsha had left the nanny and everybody, the nanny with the boys over the weekend and just left in the Rolls Royce and did not come back for 3-4 days. And then when Simon came back, it was just him and the boys. And then Porsha came with the man with the gun. It was a mess, child. But I guess, they over the biggest hump. Let's keep listening.
I was no member of her family, whether on the mother's side or the father's side, reached out to me. And the only person I actually reached out to was her mom. And, she didn't respond. And so I essentially sent her a text message. I said, this was a $5 million rehab project that I took on. She never shared her concerns.
Not the $5 million rehab project. Now, let me listen. I got to pull some receipts while he's talking because I have to. Y'all remember there was a text message from Miss Diane, and we was talking about it. And apparently Miss Diane was like, my name West, I ain't in that mess. Y'all remember that? Well, Simon was reaching out. He kept reaching out. And apparently Miss Diane ended up blocking him because it was around the time I was talking about the embryos. Y'all remember when I talked about the embryos and how Porsha and Simon had these embryos that were, being prepared to be implanted in a surrogate? Do y'all remember that? Y'all might not remember that, but Porsha mentioned it during this season of the show, and I actually did a whole video on it. Well, around that time that Porsha filed for divorce, Simon decided to go ahead and destroy the embryos. And so at that time, he reached out to Miss Diane. And I have the text message. Oh, I have a text message. Hold on. I have a text message. And I ain't gonna put it up here because people be stealing. Okay. He said, "Good morning, Mom. I hope you are doing better than Porsha and I. I understand and appreciate your position as a mother, and I also know for a fact that you love me as a son. In the almost 3 years that we have been in each other's lives, ooh, 3 years, y'all do the math, huh? Y'all do the math. In the almost 3 years that we have been in each other's lives, why my phone rang? We have treated each other with love, respect, and kindness. So my reaching out to you is a last ditch effort to save your child, Porsha, that you willingly gave me in marriage. And I, in turn, have provided and cared for as you have asked me to do. Porsha is being manipulated by her team." See, I started reading old tea and then be like, you know what? Simon might have had a point now. Now that we see all the stuff coming out. Porsha is being manipulated by her team for their selfish reasons. At the time, he said, "I'm not at risk of being deported, a criminal, or a financial risk to her. This is where families show they ride for each other. Cannot think of a better example than now. Your daughter is being led down a path that takes her back to the Bolo era and a bucket full of toxicity. This is not what Bravo NBCU signed up for. She has the chance to not only change her own life, but also the lives of many Black families that currently look up to us. She and I and our family dynamic brought us to this point. Not Karen Kenny or Lauren Williams." That's Porsha's team. "We represent Black royalty. Hold on, where it go? Damn, it's a long text. We represent Black royalty, not what is playing out in the public domain. You and I know that God and the universe does not reward liars and manipulators. My ex-wife Fallon was that person. Porsha should not co-sign the lies and destroying families. As we speak, your daughter has not even had the decency to tell me why she filed for divorce. An action and treatment worse than that done to her by Cordell Stewart." He even brought back Cordell Stewart. And then he said, "I have children, businesses, and employees and their family to protect. I hope Porsha can wake up and take control over her own life and travel down an honest and truthful path. And I hope as her mother, you will look her in the eyes and tell her what you know to be right and true. Simon is not her enemy. I know you are very capable of praying and talking some sense into her. You are the only one besides Pilar that I know can still tell her the truth about who we are and should continue to be. I love and miss my family, and I know God has his plans." Child, that was a lot. And this is what Miss Diane said. Oh, and then he said, "And by the way, sadly, as we continue down this unfortunate path, Iona, the embryo, will be terminated." See, y'all, oh child, it is what it is. And here go what Miss Diane said. It's right here. You see that? It's right here. Miss Diane said, "Hello, my son in love. As you can imagine, I'm deeply pained by the current headlines and state of your relationship with my daughter. I know and feel both the hurt of each of you as I do for myself. I pray that what you both saw in each other when you first met and intentionally agreed to make a forever life and family together be restored. Yes, I welcomed you and gave my daughter to you to have and protect from that day until eternity. But now you find yourselves not feeling that protection. What do we do? First, to take accountability as experienced husband and wife on each side, along with prayer. May God's will be done. I'm not giving up on you two. Love always, Mom." And scene. Okay, and scene. So anyway, that's I had to read that because when Simon brought up that text where he said he had been texting the family, I'm like, he sure did. He sure did. He said, "Miss Diane said my name West. I ain't in that mess." Hold on, let's listen.
$5 million rehab project that I took on. She never shared her concerns or issues with me before.
Let me
She
go
reached
back a
out
little
to
bit.
was her mom, and she didn't respond. And so I essentially sent her a text message. I said this was $5 million rehab project that I took on. She never shared her.
Not the $5 million rehab project. You know, Simon and Porsha got together right on the heels of that Bolo situation. And remember, the internet was tearing Porsha up. The internet said she was a WHORE, and she was in the back room with the sex worker Bolo. And I don't know if he was a sex worker, but they said, remember the whole thing about her and Tanya, and how Kenya was trying to police her for JJ? That was on the heels of that. So it felt like Porsha needed to do something to change the narrative about her. She's like, I'm not a whore. I'm not a twerker. I'm not the queen of Thotlandia. I'm a wife. I'm a mother.
Concerns are issues with me before filing for divorce. If you're married, I've been married quite a bit. I think I understand a little bit about the dynamics of, I should understand a little bit about the dynamics of a relationship. You discuss issues and say, hey, if this does not change or something does not happen, this is what might come of it. Mm-hmm. We never had those discussions, and I'm happy to share with you text messages where I was essentially blindsided.
Not Simon said he giving all the receipts to everybody, even the white lady.
By the divorce file.
I was actually going to ask you if this was something that you saw coming, if conversations had been had prior. What do you think Porsha's reason was to file for divorce?
I think I was targeted.
In what way?
Now he was targeted. Now you remember Porsha got a Rolls Royce from his cousin too. Now y'all remember that? Oh, child, not he's spilling the tea that we've been spilling.
I was targeted from day one for financial reasons. When I filed for divorce from my previous, ex-wife, she was in my DM praying for me.
Oh, no, child. Now Porsha was hanging out, child.
And I think I was in a vulnerable position at that time, and I entertained it. And so it just kind of snowballed from there.
She saw Mark, and then her and Dennis said, Dennis is the pimp in the situation, because Dennis got his baby mama and his daughter a whole house and some money every month. Dennis is the pimp.
Getting engaged in 30 days, who does that? I was out of my goddamn mind to have done that. And of course, I'm paying dearly for it.
Wow.
Damn, now he was tricked, child. Porsha is a pro, okay? Listen, it was a transactional relationship. He was already giving her $30,000 when they were just dating a month, okay? And then when they agreed to marry, he, spent millions on weddings, and still, the prenup gave her $40,000. So yes, it's all about the money, honey. And then a lot of people, this is what really gets me. And again, I'm not team nobody, I'm team truth. But y'all have been saying Simon is broke. Simon was spending Porsha money and all this. If any of that was true, why do you think that she got with him? And why do you think that she, fought so hard to under this prenup if he didn't have no money? Y'all let me know in the chat.
That brings me to my next topic. There was some reports stating that the judge overseeing your divorce case has upheld the prenup that you guys signed before entering marriage. Are you able to share a little bit about what those terms are or look like?
That you receive $40,000 a month in alimony.
Porsha look good in that red, I can't lie.
For the length of the marriage, which was 14 months. Okay. She gets to stay in the house, all expenses paid, including the mortgage, for 36 months.
And I've been telling y'all this for how long now? Listen, I'm glad I have a good squad, and I'm glad that y'all follow me, because it seems like everything I tell y'all come out in the wash. It's like I've been telling y'all this over and over and over, and y'all be like, how Michelle know all this? Because the streets be talking, child.
Up to 36 months. And if she chooses to own the home, she would have to refinance the property in her name and take a 50% equity. She would have to give me 50% equity in the home.
Wow. What is your reaction to that ruling and that decision?
It's basically what I've.
you know, it's interesting too, and I agree with you, Zelene, because at the end of the day, like nobody feels sorry for either one of them. Like, first of all, he got the money to pay the $40,000 a month, and she getting $40,000 a month. So at the end of the day, there are no. I keep telling y'all there are no victims. Fallon wasn't a victim. Portia's not a victim. Simon is not a victim. Like they all had a part to play in this dirty, dirty web of deception. Unfortunately, you know, I told y'all if I gotta pick a side, that's the side I picked, and it is what it is. But you know, Porsha, you know, did what she felt like she had to do, I guess.
Hell from day one about this case when I realized that I was targeted. I've had prenups in previous relationship, and I've honored those prenups without reservation. This time around,
Now remember, he honored the prenups without reservation. Remember with Fallon, he was paying Fallon. Fallon got the cheap end of the stick. Fallon was on the interview and said she was getting $10,000 a month from Simon but she was married a lot longer. She probably still getting it, honestly. She also instead of getting the house, which is crazy because it was the same deal that Simon tried to get to Porsha, but Porsha would not even mediate. Instead of getting the marital home, what Fallon got was they sold the house and he ended up giving her money to live in another house. So yeah, but Porsha was hell bent on staying in the house that he bought, and which is why he, you know, chose to fight. And I think he speaks on that in this interview.
I've chosen to challenge in court all the way to the Supreme Court if I have to. This enforcement of the prenup is going to continue to receive legal challenges on the appeal front.
Okay, so you're vowing to appeal this decision for sure.
1,000% is going.
He said he is appealing it 1,000%. I told y'all Simon said he was appealing it. He had the appeal ready before the damn hearing. Okay, he was already ready to go. Okay, they just waiting on the judge's order to come down and be signed.
To be appealed.
One of the things that has recently kind of come out is that Porsha said she paid child support for your children while you were in ICE custody.
Let me just say this. Somebody said she was only married to him for 3 years. Who you talking about, Fallon? Because Porsha was only married for 14 months, 453 days.
What is your reaction to that?
She sent her two $2,500 payments in 1 month, and that was it.
So Simon is confirming that Porsha sent the baby mama two $2,500 payments for 1 month, and that's it. And as you know, the receipts have been shown, it was Porsha who actually reached out to her and not vice versa. But Porsha was trying to make it seem like Simon was in default and that, you know, the baby mama reached out to her for money, and that's not true. And I guess, you know, she did it to look good in the eyes of the court, which was a strategy in itself. So, you know, you gotta thank Porsha's attorneys for that, I guess.
Didn't even necessarily cover anything. I heard for the first time in court that had happened, and I immediately texted my ex-wife asking her, did she receive any funds from Porsha? She said yes. Porsha reached out to her and offered to give those funds to her. In my opinion, it was not. It wasn't done in good faith. It was done to give a narrative in court or to the public that I paid Simon's I paid Simon's child support.
Did Porsha have a relationship with this?
Oh, here you go. Those are the two sons that lived with him. And I know y'all was saying that, you know, that you know, Porsha didn't have a relationship, and I guess Simon's saying she didn't either. Let's see.
I paid Simon's child support.
Did Porsha have a relationship with this son of yours that she sent his mother money for?
Not particularly. My boys were with me for the last 5+ years. They've been with me 1 week on, 1 week off, and quite frankly, my Kids don't care who daddy is married to or who daddy is dating. And
now that's Simon. That's why I disagree with you. Now kids care. Kids. I mean, you gonna have women coming in like a big rotating door. Like kids need stability.
She never developed any particular relationship with my kids. They came and they we all did family things together, but there's not one particular child that she has.
And y'all don't find it odd that Porsha kicked them kids out? Like she was saying, "Oh, I love them kids. I'll help you with your child support." But when the time came for her to bring her and Pilar in the house, she kicked Simon and the two boys out. Now, I thought that was wrong. If she loved them kids so much, why not just tell Simon to leave and the boys can stay with the nanny? Let me know in the chat.
A personal relationship with.
Do you feel that you have a relationship with her daughter?
I don't have a relationship with her daughter, simply because I've in the past, I found myself where when I separate from any of my exes with children, there's a tendency for them to use their children to get back.
You say if Simon is rich, why would his ex need money from Porsha in the first place? Simon was in detention. Simon couldn't pay nothing. Simon was locked up by ICE and his assets were frozen. That is why, Ricky Smith, where you been? You been locked up?
Get me. To come, to try to come back into my life. And Porsha is no exception. She sent me a text telling me that her daughter misses me. And I didn't respond because I
Can we talk about that for a second? And I know we only got a few seconds left in this, but when Porsha sent that text saying, Pilar asked about you, it was manipulative. That was one of those gaslighting, narcissistic kind of ploys that you use. Like she left him, she filed for divorce against him, and then she sends him a text wanting him to talk to the daughter. That was a little bit strange. And then me and my friends, we seem to feel that Porsha, remember I read you that text that he sent to Miss Diane, and he was saying he felt like it was Porsha's team and he named her agent and her manager and all of this stuff. I personally feel like it was a ploy, like she blindsided him and they wanted to get his natural reaction on camera. Like maybe if he would have, took the route where he wooed her back or was trying to get her back, but instead, when she filed for divorce, Simon was like, cut everything off. You know what I'm saying? Change the locks, cancel the embryos. So apparently, her plan didn't work. And when she was in the middle of it, she probably was thinking twice, like, how I get here? Just my opinion. I don't know. I might be wrong. Let's finish.
There was a concerted effort at some point that she realized she had made a mistake, and wanted to reconcile. At that point, I was done.
Whew, Simon said he was done. D-O-N-E. Now, I'm sure we're going to hear a lot more from Simon. We're going to hear a lot more from Porsha. Porsha right now is in Scotland filming Traders. So I'm sure when she gets out, she's going to do a lot more interviews. It ain't over. Y'all keep telling me in my comment section, we don't want to hear about Porsha and Simon no more. We don't want to hear. Y'all going to keep hearing about them until... Listen, he's already filing an appeal. We're going to hear about that too.